They can't have a nuclear weapon. And they got to go fast because they're fairly close to having one. And they're not going to have one. And if we have to do something very harsh, we'll do it. And I'm not doing it for us, I'm doing it for the world. And these are radicalized people, and they cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Does that include a potential strike on Iranian nuclear facilities?
Of course it does.
And just a follow-up question, a clarification. You mentioned that you're open to deporting individuals that aren't foreign aliens but are criminals to El Salvador. Does that include potentially U.S. citizens fully naturalized American?
If they're criminals and if they hit people with baseball bats over their head that happen to be 90 years old, and if they rape 87-year-old women in Coney Island, Brooklyn, yeah, that includes them. What, do you think there's a special category of person? They're as bad as anybody that comes in. We have bad ones too. And I'm all for it because we can do things with the president for less money and have great security. And we have a huge prison population. We have a huge number of prisons, and then we have the private prisons, and some are operated well, I guess, and some aren't. But he does a great job with that. We have others that we're negotiating with too. But no, if it's a homegrown criminal, I have no problem. Now, we're studying the laws right now. Pam is studying. If we can do that, that's good. And I'm talking about violent people. I'm talking about really bad people. Really bad people. Every bit as bad as the ones coming in. And I made the statement when I heard about this a long time ago now, 4 years ago. When I heard that this guy was having open borders, I said every single criminal from all over the world is going to be dumped into our country. And that's what happened. Jails. The jails of the Congo were emptied out. The jails of Venezuela were emptied out. And you know what happened? Their crime went way down. But now Venezuela has other problems. You know what the problem is? They have no money.
Yeah.
Because I shut off their oil, and we put secondary tariffs because they're not doing what's right over there. They know what to do. We spoke to them. I spoke to them. They know what to do. But they have no money. Venezuela has no money. But Iran had no money. And Iran behaved so beautifully.
What do you guys think of that? What do you think of sending Americans to El Salvador? I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, there's the whole thing of if they're repeat offenders. I mean, you know, MS-13 has American members. It's not all people from El Salvador and Venezuela and South America, Central. A lot of them are, you know, American. There's thousands of them. You know, people who are part of blood and Crip sets throughout Compton, California. There's even in New York and Chicago. You know, there's vice lords in Chicago. There's a whole there's BDs they're called. I forget what that even stands for, but there's GSX9 or something like that in New York. There's a whole bunch of people like that, and they are wild with how they conduct themselves in regards to going after people, drive-bys, and, you know, completely repeat offenders. And yeah, what do you think about that? You think people like that should get sent to El Salvador? I've talked about this before. I think a major deterrent, it's a very slippery slope. Yeah, that's the thing. It could get really, you know, because at that point it's like, who goes? Is it a weed dealer who goes? Or, you know, not even a dealer, somebody who just had a large amount. Does he go? Or is it just people who are super violent? They go, they're super violent and they're repeat offenders. Like, you know, the president of El Salvador, he was talking about somebody who was arrested 5 times and released every single time. You know, is it people like that? It's probably people like that need that. Because I am a big believer in deterrence. You need deterrence to make people say, okay, I should rethink what I'm doing. I don't know. A lot of it'll what will end up happening, because I don't know how they would handle it in El Salvador. But what would happen is a lot of black people would get sent to El Salvador. I mean, let's be real. A lot of when I talk about Bloods and Crips, it's like, yes, there's Latino Bloods and Crips as well, of course, but it's gonna be a lot of black guys. A lot of guys who are shooting and hitting innocent people. They're gonna go. And then how does that population that's there act when that happens? Because when you look at footage of the El Salvadorian prison, it's pretty much all people that look like him, that look like the president of El Salvador. They're all Latino in there. What happens when all of a sudden there's like 1,000 black guys in there? Do they just get eaten alive? I don't know. Are they all cool? Do they have to be cool because of the way the prison's set up and it's no games or anything? I don't really know. I think there should be a deterrent. But it's like, think about it. Regular prison isn't even a deterrent to these guys. They just live like this. Like, there's so many guys who are just, this is just their life. It's been like that forever. It's never going to stop. They're never going to get a job and work. They're never going to go to school. They're never doing that. And it's not that they can't. They just don't want to. They don't even think about exploring that side of things. How many of those guys turn their lives around and go towards something different? Not many. And then what happens with the prisons that are in America? A lot of those are privatized prisons. Do they just go under? Do those people who now work in the prison, do they lose jobs? How does that work as well? That's part of that slippery slope, I think. We don't know what prison is like. At least I don't. But do the crime, you know the rest. Yeah, I have no idea what. Well, you know what? I know what it's like because I've grown up around people who did long stints. You know, I knew a guy, the longest stint he did was like 15 years. I knew another guy that did 10. I have a family friend who did 5. I have a couple family friends that did like 5. They're Italian. Yeah, so I know what it's like for black guys. I know what it's like for white guys in there. I've heard it. My one person told me, he said it, and it really set me straight, really scared me, really deterred me. He said it's like 24 hours a day. It's like a horror movie because you could be talking to someone. You know how a horror movie, they do jump scares? He's like, you could just be standing with someone. You're talking, you're laughing, and the next thing you know, they're just trying to end your life. And you have no idea why. You have no clue what's going on. And it's just like that. And it could be anybody at any time. And I remember when he told me that, I was like, oh man, that is a chilling thought. Like living in a horror movie where just at any time it could just start and you have no idea what's going on, you know? So I know what it's like from that side. But yeah, it's slippery slope. Prison is prison. Criminals should go. Whatever deterrence they use is awesome. You're not playing around. They'll all win in basketball. I don't think you get to play basketball in El Salvador. I don't think they I don't think they do all that. I don't know if they give them that kind of time. I think in the El Salvador one, it's really, I don't think you get to see sunlight. And if you do, it's like an hour a day or something like that. It's something wild. I don't think they get to go out and play and just get yard time where they're just like conversing. I don't know. I could be wrong. But black guys all win in basketball. They have a crazy team in there, you know? But yeah, it's true. Whatever deterrent they use is awesome. If it works. That's the thing. If it works. That's why I bring up the fact that regular prison, federal prison, right now isn't a deterrent for so many people. It's really hard to say. Yeah. If this administration cares, then they need to push for better education, better paying jobs, affordable housing, incentivizing the nuclear family, better morals and values being pushed to the young, fix society and culture. Gang culture would drastically reduce, in all that, that's true. I think the main thing would be, especially in the black community, it's fathers. If you don't have a dad, like, you're just going to go out and find some other father figure and he's going to be some knucklehead. And the next thing you know, you're in a gang. And even if you're not in a gang, the next thing you know, you're doing some kind of crime. It's just, that's just the way it goes. But that goes to what you're saying, Daisy, about the nuclear family and getting the nuclear family, incentivizing people to have nuclear families, stay together. The black community just doesn't have that. Some people will ask me, like, why is it like that? I'm like, I have no idea. I grew up in a very white neighborhood. I don't know if you can tell by the way I talk. I didn't grow up in a black neighborhood, so I don't know the reasons. I know my dad's reason. He seemed like he just drank a lot. He just seemed like he couldn't keep it together because he didn't leave. My mom is a hard lady. She's a hard lady. She was like, get out of here. I don't need you around. I'll do it myself. I don't need this. Get out. She doesn't play around. She's like, you're drunk all the time. Get out. Get out. Get out. Clean yourself up. Maybe you can come back. And that was it. So she kind of got rid of him that way. Yeah, that's my mom. She's a hard lady. So I don't know about everybody else's situations. Maybe your dad went to go get some milk or cigarettes or something, but my mom tossed my dad out like she was Uncle Phil, tossing out Jazzy Jeff, But yeah, that would be a big thing, fixing that. I've wanted to help do that for a long time. Teach like young black kids about like integrity and stuff, because that's the stuff that's missing. And it's not just young black kids. Obviously, there's young Latinos that are like that. And, there's knuckleheads of every single race, obviously. But we all know the glaring people who have more of that going on. It's undeniable. But yeah, you need some kind of help there. I don't know what does it either. You really need. Like for me, I actually there's a program called the Big Brother program. I had a big brother, and that helped me. Even though I had big brothers, I had a big brother in this program, and he really helped me. He was a white guy. He was a well-to-do guy. He had a house and everything, and I got to like hang around him and talk to him and stuff. So for me, that helped. I think there needs to be more of that. I don't know how much the government helps with that program. That program's all over North America. That's from Canada all the way down to Texas. That program, I don't know. Maybe they need to flood money into that. Get more big brothers or something. I don't know. But you're right. I think you're both right. Whatever deterrent they use is good, but then at the other side, like, there should be a massive deterrent, and then on the other side there should be all the things you're talking about, Daisy. And I think both of those things together end up fixing a culture. But then also, there's the aspect of the music. And again, I'm speaking to the black community, but there's the aspect of the music. The music's demonic. It is. It's really bad what they're talking about, especially if you know what they're saying. It's even worse if you don't know what they're saying and you're still taking it into your subconscious. But you can say that about pop music in general. Like, I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot to it. America brought down the morals. Secularizing America brought down the morals of people. Oh, the morals of a lot of people. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I was talking to my friend. I remember he said, remembering when there was not God in church, but just a little more, you could tell you lived in a Christian nation. And he said it's so different now. He has a kid. My kid's not, school age yet, but his is. And he's like, it's very different. He's like, and it feels like something's missing. And that dude's not even, he doesn't have any religion of any kind. And he's like, it feels different. He's like, I feel like they should bring that back. And again, he's not even a dude that has a religion. He's like agnostic, really. But yeah, it's true. It's true. For me, strong Christian moral values helps a lot. And honestly, it built this country. So a lot of people shoo it. Oh, it's responsible for so much death. It's like, it's also responsible for America. So you should kind of, help the UK a whole lot too. Back when UK had balls, built Canada too. kind of built the world that everybody is trying to illegally immigrate into constantly and legally. It's kind of built the places where everybody wants to be. You know, just saying. But yeah, I just wanted to know that where you guys were at with that. But all right, let's get back to this. There's only a couple minutes left.